Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss Age of Renaissance. Today I will be discussing Renaissance, the Age of the Spirit. Today I will be discussing the Renaissance, the spirit of the age. Actually, if we discuss the very early ages, uh, then we can uh, think that the Muslims were the ruler. The Muslims were on the top. Because Muslims ruled Africa, India, and this why they were ruler. Muslims are rich with literature. Muslims had enough literature and they had enough knowledge. Sorry, we were talking about the Muslims' history. Muslim had enough knowledge. They had culture, heritage, traditions, and the Europeans were impressed by the Muslims. They followed Muslims, and when they were following the Muslims, they read Muslims' literature, they read their civilization, they read their culture, they read their literature, and they also read Greek and Romans. Renaissance came in Italy. Italy was the center because there was liberty in Italy, and in Italy there was liberty to research, liberty to expressions, liberty to say something, liberty to invent and discover. Dante was the founder of Renaissance. Petrarch is the pioneer of Renaissance. And Roger Bacon gave the principle of rationalism. And Renaissance actually came in Italy, and after it, we know that Renaissance came in France, England, and others country. And but the Renaissance center was Italy. After this, Renaissance wave came in other countries. But when the people read literature, when the people read civilization, and literature was available for the common people, then different movements came in front. Several forces were at work. It was the cause of Renaissance. A spirit cannot generated by any one person or any one thing or any one atom. It has to be always a combination, a confluence of several things. And during Renaissance, several forces were at work. Renaissance was roughly during the Tudor period. Renaissance was roughly during the Tudor period. Years between 485 to 603 is called Tudor period. There were three Tudor kings: Henry VII, Henry VIII, and Queen Elizabeth. Henry VII ruled from 485 to 1507. Henry VIII ruled from 1507 to 1557, full 50 years. And Queen Elizabeth, she was the daughter of Henry VIII, and Henry VIII was a notorious king, and he killed 3 wives. He was notorious king. Queen Elizabeth ruled 1558 to 1603. Actually, in the beginning, we know that it was the time of feudals. It was the time of elite. It was the time of officials, high class, church. But in the age of Queen Elizabeth, we can see that it was the glorious time of English history. The Europeans came in India, came in Africa, came in America, and they explored the world. And the Europeans were rich in literature during this age. European people were rich in literature, in knowledge, and in money. If we discuss the writing in this age, then first we discuss Malory. Malory wrote in very early, he wrote Moody Arthur. That is about the King Arthur and his exploits. King Arthur was also a notorious king, and this book shows his exploitations. And Malory also shows the exploitations, the cruelty, and the contemptuous expressions of this age. Contemptuous expressions for the common people. and he shows the feudals, the landlord, the elites, and their exploitations. And after this, another person who is much important than the Mallory, this is Caxton. Actually, Caxton was the father of printing press. Before the printing press, if we want to write a book with hand, then we will waste enough time, month or more than the month. After the printing press, it was a great revolution. We can write book within a minutes and within a hours. We can write books within hours, and printing press spare the time. And another benefit which was for the common peoples, that after the printing press, literature was enough. Literature was approximately literature was in the hands of common people. Literature was reached in the hands of common people. Credit goes to the printing press. And when the common people read books, when the common people read literature, because literature makes the minds, literature tells the people that they had their rights. And when the people realize their rights, then the revolution, for example, the peasant revolt and the labor revolt came in England, and the peoples were conscious about their rights. And it credit goes to the Caxton, that he was the father of printing press, and he gave the idea of printing press. And we have a set of female poets in this age. For example, Julian of Norwich. Julian of Norwich. It was a lady. It was a woman poet. He wrote revelations of divine love, and it was her autobiography. She wrote revelations of divine love, and it was her autobiography. He wrote about herself, illusions, dreams, visions, and it was her autobiography. Divine love means Christ. Divine love means Christ. During her dialogues, she says to Christ. She said to Christ. She said, why this evil in this world, if God is kind, if God is pious, and He sent His Son of God to save the humanity. And there were some dialogues between her and Christ. And how imagine, and you can imagine that in this age, a lady is posing a question. A lady poses question to Christ. In this age, you can't uh, imagine questions. Nobody could dare poses question to Christ. Nobody can say a few words about the text of Bible. Nobody can dare it to about say something about Bible. But it was in this age. It credit goes to the Renaissance, that the people are asking question. People are asking questions about religion, about church, about nobility, about king and prince and princess. It credit goes to the Renaissance, spirit of the age. And another poet, female poet, her name is Marjorie Kemp. He wrote a book of Marjorie Kemp, and it was also autobiography of this lady. And we have a model of confessional writing. These females are the model of confessional writing. And after this, in 20th century, we have some confessional poets in English history, and even in the American history after the Second World War, we have some confessional poets. And after this, I would like to discuss the science test. Some science tests also came in front. For example, Galileo Galilei, Copernicus, and they gave the idea, they gave the theory, uh, they gave some theories, and it was it became possible due to the Renaissance, that a person, a scientist came in front, and he is saying that Bible is wrong, because he because his concept was against the Bible. And it credit goes to the Renaissance. He says Earth is revolving. Before it was wrong. It was very wrong. No one can dare it. No one can go against the Bible, and it was blasphemy according to the church. But this great scientists to do it. And after this, we would like to discuss uh, some other uh, poets. For example, Plutarch. Plutarch wrote moral essays, and after this, Bacon wrote Bacon essays, and these are the part of MA English syllabus. He wrote truth. He wrote about the truth, and it credit goes to the Bacon as Bacon's Bacon. He wrote some moral and some English essays. And we have example of John Skeleton. John Skeleton, in the age of Henry VIII, he wrote about the minister of Henry VIII, and this minister was powerful, and he was much powerful than the king, but he wrote against the minister, and it credit goes to the Renaissance age. That no, in this age, people was the people had liberty, people had freedom, and this freedom is the main thing. The people found liberty according to the writing, according to the literature. They were free, and they wrote. Renaissance actually gave the language. Renaissance actually gave the words. Renaissance actually gave the literature, and this is why everyone was free. And it was the story of